Welcome back, guys. Welcome back to another video. The day has finally come. Thunderbolts came out these last few days. I saw it yesterday, and I'll just say that it was a pretty good movie. Be warned, there will be heavy spoilers, my thoughts on the film, whether my predictions were right or not, and, what I think this means for moving forward. So let me just jump right into it. Let me not waste y'all time. Although it's going to be very long, I could really make this to 2 videos, but nah, I'm going to just unpack everything I got right now. So, I'd like to say, this Marvel movie had a lot of comedy. That's just been an MCU issue. They're over-reliant on comedy that's just, in my opinion, not that funny. But that's the tone of their film, just to have a whole lot of humor. So, if it worked once, they're going to try and make it work again. Sorry about that noise. So, the comedy was whatever. I expected it. I thought a few moments were funny, but some people, I feel like if you're in a certain theater, there would have been people who laughed at every single joke, but that wasn't like that this time around. So there was that. The story of the film, was, in my opinion, wasn't strong. Like, the plot wasn't that strong, but the themes were strong. So the plot was like, oh, cover up Project Sentry, but the themes was like about sadness, depression, and loneliness. This movie was really just a big therapy session. I'm not a fan of Marvel doing that, because that's not, that's not the film. You could talk about loneliness and stuff like that, but I feel like they did this in Doctor Strange too. I feel like they did that in Far From Home as well. Far From Home, and even at the end of No Way Home, a lot of I feel directionless and hopeless. It was definitely to cater to people who feel that way. I'm definitely somebody who felt that way, who still does feel that way. But I feel like, they're really relying on that aspect. And just because you rely on it, that doesn't make the story strong, at least for me. So I didn't think the plot was strong in that way. And there was no villain. Sentry's not a villain. The Void is. Well, I'm going to get into that in a minute. But that's just for me. That's just, I didn't feel that way. The Thunderbolts crew, I thought, forget the woman who can turn invisible or like go through walls. I thought she should have had more scenes. I get this was their version of Suicide Squad, but like, I didn't think they meshed well. I didn't think they had that ultimate scene where like, oh, there's a true camaraderie here. It's just they were all connected because they all had made some mistakes. I feel like it's not really fair, because I feel like John Walker was really the only guy who was like, who shouldn't have been redeemed. Well, not shouldn't have. Everybody deserves redemption, but like, a lot of his stuff was his fault. But everybody else is like, they were experimented on, they were forced to do it as a child, and they're just dealing with those, ramifications, that stress. But those were the themes. The themes were strong. They were good, strong themes. Plot, not so much. Action scenes were great. Yeah, that's basically, I did all that up before I talked about Sentry.
See what I see.
You're not Earth's mightiest heroes.
No. We are the Thunderbolts!
You're not Earth's mightiest heroes.
No. We are the Thunderbolts!
You're not Earth's mightiest heroes.
No. We are the Thunderbolts!
And yet we still need protection. Witness the invincible stronger
that's really
than
my whole
all
thing.
of
There
the
was really
Avengers
no
rolled
real
into
villain in
one,
the film.
and soon to be known
Like
as
I kept,
Earth's
cause I
mightiest
remember I told
hero.
people like it was gonna be Sentry versus Dark Sentry.
Why
But
would a
it's like, yo,
god
him
take
versus himself.
orders
I know he's his
from
best
anyone
enemy.
at all?
But this is the
Maybe I need
introduction.
to
Like,
show
is
you
he gonna have
what I'm
somebody like
capable of.
powerful to face? None of that. So that's the
Sentry's
big
gone off the
disappointment.
rails,
Like a
and
lot of
he's
these
dangerous.
films, they deter from
Avengers are
hero
gone.
versus villains, which is
No
it's
one
good
is
to
coming to
change it
save
up.
the
But
day.
like
We
that
could
is
be
the
the
core
people that are
basis
coming.
of in my opinion, good guy, bad guy. If you want to go total gray line,
Why,
that's
you got
great.
someplace to be?
I
But
love that guy.
and I get it, Sentry. A lot of his stuff is internal, like Hulk,
Bucky, you
but
have the wrong people.
it doesn't make
We
for,
have
at
all
least for
done bad
me,
things.
You can live with it
an
forever.
engaging film,
Or you
especially
can
if
do
you knew the
something
character.
about it.
I'm gonna use that to
He's a
segue into
hero.
Sentry. I'll talk about
Saving
Sentry right
people in
now.
the streets.
The,
There is no
the
higher
actor who
calling.
portrayed him, his introduction to the
done with
MCU
therapy?
couldn't have been any better. He had a
You're
great
not
intro to the
Earth's
MCU.
mightiest heroes.
No.
We are the
You know,
Thunderbolts!
they conveyed the right emotion. You know, everything, like him being out of it, him being a born meth addict, him having these powers, like everything,
You're
even his
not
internal
Earth's
struggle, his
mightiest
being at
heroes.
home, like what
No.
led him down
We are
this
the
path.
Thunderbolts!
Like he had a great introduction. The Void was, I know a lot of people did not like the design. They felt like it was lazy. It just darkened him out. It is lazy. I feel like, and by the next time we see the Void, he's gonna have the tendrils look that he has in the comics. I think they're saving that. I think they did not want to like. I think they want to make sure like, oh, this is not the same guy. This is like his alter ego, you know. And they don't want to confuse because I feel like the audience would be confused. But I already feel like some people are confused about the Sentry, who he is, right? You know, but his introduction, because I feel like this movie is less about the Thunderbolts and more about we're introducing one of the most powerful characters Marvel ever made. You know, his abilities are limitless. You know, I was even telling somebody like, yo, what he was doing was not telekinesis. That was matter manipulation. This man is hella powerful. And his showcase against them was incredible. And I'm just weird. It's weird to me because all of these people's strengths are like max super soldier. And it's like, are we going to see the Hulk? Are we going to see Namor? You know, because those are people that could like probably, you know, put a wound on him. You know what I mean? And we didn't see none of that. And I was just disappointed. You know, are we going to see Red Hulk against him? You know, something. None of that. Even though I said all those good things about Sentry, my main problem was the way because a lot of it, they did a lot of Void references. Like, oh, it's like an empty void, him, you know, fall into that darkness, which is great. But they said something in the film that kind of made me think, okay, I don't think they get it. Right? They said, you give the super soldier serum to somebody like Steve Rogers, you know, you get Captain America. You give it to somebody unstable, you don't know what you'll get. And for me, I felt like that was the wrong approach because, you know, he's the Sentry, like he's a hero. He's a good hero. Matter of fact, you know, like he's not. So you know, obviously he had his mental problem, but that's really more of like the Void type of thing. Like I feel like another thing is some of these films, they don't understand the difference between mental illness and somebody who's got a lot of trauma. Just because you're traumatized doesn't mean you have a mental illness. I feel like a lot of people just confuse the two. But I'm not. For a whole other video. But I don't feel like. And another thing, like they portrayed like the golden serum, like they intended for somebody to be that powerful. In the comics, it was supposed to be a way to create another super soldier. Bob took it in the comics, thinking it was meth, ended up, you know, failing and made him the power of a god. Same exact story of the Hulk. Hulk had that same story. He was, you know, at least in the Ultimate Universe, he was trying to recreate the super soldier serum, became the Hulk. So it's things like, oh, things were certainly intended one way, and it turned out a whole different way. So I felt like that's what they were going for. If you give it to the wrong person, you end up with that. But, you know, they ended up with somebody who was like a god. And yeah, the Void almost ruined them. But, you know, he also had enough of heroism in him to stop himself. And a lot of people wouldn't. A lot of people would just let the world burn. So, and he didn't kill anybody. And, you know, it's like, this is what Tyrone Magnus say. So this wasn't from me. He was like, oh, he feel like he was more of like the neutral man. Like he didn't really have a real stance, and that's how I felt. Like I didn't think they really delved into like, is this man really a good person? They just focused on, oh, this man has a lot of baggage. But all heroes have baggage. So I didn't think they put that on screen correctly. At least for me. So I feel like the film for me was a 7.75. It was better than the last Captain America movie. That last Captain America movie, I did not like it. I never made a review on it, but I thought that was a waste. This one was not as much a waste. Had a good Sentry showcase. They did his character well. They did internal struggles well. The plot was for me, was lacking. I feel like they should have had a real big bad. I guess they're saving that for next year. But, does this get me excited for Marvel next year? I'm always going to be excited. I've been a fan since I was 6, so 20 years strong, still ain't lost my love. Now, there's another big thing that happened. It was at the end of the film, because people were wondering why there are a asterisk at the end of Thunderbolts. Now we know. The reason why it was called that is because they're calling them the New Avengers. Ooh, boy. They got some balls. The New Avengers. I don't like that. I don't like that one bit. They could have just left them as Thunderbolts. The New Avengers, this is going to set up, at least in my mind, some form of Civil War 2. Even though the OG guard is gone, Civil War 2, if I'm correct, would be Thunderbolts against Spider-Man, Black Panther, Hulk, Thor if he's available, the new Captain America, and Hawkeye. You know what I mean? You still got Doctor Strange somewhere. Well, he was never an Avenger. So, yeah. And then you still got the Young Avengers. So, and they gotta hurry that up too. Young Avengers. People don't, oh, they got a Young Avengers. They gotta hurry that up. Because these people are gonna grow up fast. So they better stop with that. They better not think like, oh yeah, 5 years passed, but they still young. Like, no, they'll be full on adults. So I don't like that. I don't like that they have a new Avengers. They got a whole new costume. They showed 14 months later, and they showed like this craft of like the Fantastic Four coming through, and I was excited to see the Fantastic Four in Earth 616. That's the MCU universe. It shouldn't be the MCU. That should be Earth 1. Like, how many nines is it? 4 or 5 nines. But Fantastic Four is gonna meet them. It just sucks, man, that there's no OG crew. There's no Tony, there's no Cap. But, they're going to come through to the main MCU timeline and give us a distress call. What about? We don't know. But I don't think that was a good idea. Because now you're saying, like, oh, we have a new Avenger squad and this is them. Because they're under contract. But that's just not a good squad. They just going to rely on Sentry for some of those battles. So I don't think that was the right decision. That's just me. And the old and the new and improved squad wasn't that good either. I told you already. Rumors of them replacing T'Challa for Black Panther 3. That should be interesting. And next year, they said Spider-Man will be in Avengers, but he'll be like doing voiceover and he'll have a mask on. I'm like, that's ridiculous. That's absolutely nonsense. So, I thought the film was good. I think a lot of my predictions was correct. They didn't split yet, but I think Sentry will play a big role. I mean, he should. He's either going to play 1 or 2 roles for Doomsday. He's either going to die to show how powerful Doom is, which would be comical, or somebody Dr. Doom was going to be like, I've been looking at the multiverse for you, and he's going to try to take control of maybe the Void part of Sentry. Because it's not lost to me that, Sentry has come out right before there's an Avengers before there's a multiversal movie. I'm like, maybe there's only one Sentry in the multiverse. Who knows if they'll go that route. If they go that route, maybe Dr. Doom has been searching the multiverse to get a hold of Sentry and try to control him, sway him to join him, so that he can make a whole new universe. Because, Sentry, I don't know if he's the strongest, But, you know, if the Eternals can mess up a Celestial, he may be Celestial bound, bro. He may be Odin bound. At least film-wise. So, you know, there's a lot of theories, a lot of interest coming in. But just know these new Avengers, they're going to give them some movies, you know, after this. But here's my thing. If they're the new Avengers, right? They're the new ones, right? They're replacing the old guard, right? Because I fully predict that by, what's that shit movie called? Secret Wars. We're going to see the OG crew. I'm like, there's no way. I don't care what Chris Evans says. If they gave Robert Downey Jr. $100 million, they gonna give Chris Evans something to come back for Cap. Like, he'll come back as Cap. We'll see the old Tony back. We'll see the old crew one more time for Secret Wars. I'm certain of it. They'll probably even bring back Scarlett Johansson. All this money, they'll bring him back. After that, what are these new Avengers gonna do after that? Like, if they're really done with Jonathan Majors as Kang, right? Because these guys, they not messing with Galactus. And Galactus has been shown to be in Fantastic Four trying to destroy their universe. So I'm guessing after Doctor Doom, it's only right they go up against Galactus. But these new Avengers, they can't mess with Galactus. So, you know, when the Silver Surfer comes to them for help, like, you know, maybe they could add new members, but it's like, you know, and I don't think they should reboot the MCU. I already heard that. Reboot it. No. I just feel like they got too many characters. Yo, at this point, if the Avengers is garbage, bring in some new X-Men. Where are the X-Men at? I hear like they're gonna bring all the old guard for Doomsday. That to me sounds like they're just gonna kill the X-Men universe. You know, this parallel universe. Bring on the X-Men. We need some new blood. Some new blood X-Men film. And you got Disney Plus, so you got plenty of time to do like a bunch of X-Men spin-offs, X-Men side stories. Do that. So, this was a long little review. I'm sorry if I was all over the place. I try to do my best. Let me know if there's any tips and criticism you can give me. Let me know what y'all thought about the film. Like I said, 7.75. I can't give it an 8. I did not like the movie that much. I feel like there should have been a real villain. And I'm hoping from now on we get more real villains. Even if they're like basic villains. Maybe they feel like they're running out of villains. You know? So, yeah. I got my fingers crossed for the future of Marvel. We're going to see Robert Downey Jr. as Doom. He's supposed to have the mask on at all times. I guess when they take it off, they'll see Tony. But, we'll see, bro. All right. Thanks for watching. Appreciate y'all. See y'all soon.